You tell yourself it's jealousy, but if you sit with it a little longer, you'll notice it's not really about control. It's about fear, not fear that they'll betray you, but fear that one day you'll simply stop mattering, that someone more interesting will appear, more attractive, more successful, more enough, and without any warning, your place will quietly disappear. This fear doesn't shout, it whispers. It shows up in small moments, a new name mentioned in conversation, a notification that isn't yours, laughter shared with someone else. To an outsider, it looks small, harmless, but inside you, something ancient wakes up. A familiar script starts playing. This is how it begins. I'm about to be replaced. And suddenly your body reacts before logic has a chance to speak. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts speed up. You start analyzing everything. Did their tone change? Are they less attentive? Am I imagining this? This isn't about distrust. It's about memory. Somewhere in your past, you learned that being chosen is permanent, that attention can shift, that love can be withdrawn. Maybe you were compared to others. Maybe you felt overlooked. Maybe you had to compete for affection. Whatever the origin, your nervous system remembers. Psychology calls this rejection sensitivity, a heightened alertness to signs of exclusion. It's often connected to insecure attachment patterns, where your sense of worth becomes tied to whether you are being chosen in the present moment. When being chosen equals being valuable, any perceived threat feels like danger. So, what do? Sometimes you try harder. You become more accommodating. You shrink parts of yourself to be easier to love. You monitor your reactions so you won't be too much. You become quieter, more agreeable, more convenient, not because it's who you are, but because somewhere inside, you believe that staying lovable requires constant adjustment. Other times, you do the opposite. You pull away first. You act indifferent. You create emotional distance, because if you detach before they do, at least you'll feel some control over the loss. It's a protective strategy, but here's the painful truth. Neither strategy brings peace. Trying to be better than imaginary competition is exhausting. Leaving before being left is lonely. Both are built on the same core belief: I can be replaced, and that belief almost never starts in the current relationship. It usually began long before this person. It began the first time you felt unseen. The first time you weren't prioritized. The first time you realized that love could shift without explanation. Children internalize these moments quietly. They don't think, this situation was complex. They think, something must be wrong with me. And that thought, if repeated enough, turns into identity. So now, even as an adult, when someone you care about connects with someone else, it doesn't just feel neutral. It feels like evidence. Evidence that you are about to lose your position. But here is what fear doesn't tell you. Being chosen is not a competition. Healthy connection is not about outperforming others. It's not about being the most impressive option in the room. It's about resonance. Two people don't stay together because no one else exists. They stay because something between them fits. Compatibility in a ranking system. It's alignment. You are not interchangeable. And neither is anyone else. The belief that you must constantly secure your position creates chronic anxiety. It turns relationships into performance reviews. Am I doing enough? Am I interesting enough? Am I still their favorite? Love is not supposed to feel like an audition that never ends. If someone is with you only because you're outperforming alternatives, that isn't safety anyway. Real security begins internally. It begins the moment you stop measuring your worth by whether someone else could choose differently. Because here's the deeper layer. Even if someone did leave, it wouldn't mean you were replaceable. It would mean the connection wasn't aligned anymore. Those are not the same thing. Rejection feels personal, but compatibility is mutual. When you truly understand that, the nervous system slowly calms. You stop scanning every room for potential threats. You stop shrinking to stay chosen. You stop rehearsing abandonment before it happens. Instead, You begin asking a different question. Not am I about to be replaced, but is this connection healthy for me? That shift changes everything. Because the goal is no longer to secure your place. It's to build something stable with someone who sees your uniqueness, not your competitiveness. You deserve to be chosen not because you tried harder than someone else, not because you made yourself smaller, not because you predicted their needs perfectly, but because who you are resonates. Peace comes when you realize, if someone leaves for better, they weren't choosing you for the right reasons to begin with. And if someone stays, it's not because there were no other options. It's because they value what exists specifically with you. You are not a placeholder. You are not a backup plan. You are not competing for existence. The fear of being replaced may visit you. It may whisper old stories, but it is a memory, not a prophecy. And until you separate your past wounds from your present reality, every relationship will feel unstable. Security is not built by controlling who else is around. It's built by believing that your worth is not up for comparison. When that belief becomes stronger, jealousy softens, anxiety loosens, and connection becomes lighter. Not because the world stopped offering alternatives, but because you stopped seeing yourself as one.